Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you're in the day. Hello, my name is Ellis Fountain. I do YouTube videos. I make it relaxing. Light up the incense, light up the positivity, light up the energy. Because today we're going to be reading Tulane. We're going to read 2 chapters a day. I feel pretty good about it. How about y'all? Let's get into it. This is by Katie Camillo. Not my girlfriend. Just an author. Once in a house on Egypt Street, there lived a rabbit who was made almost entirely of china. He had china arms and china legs, china paws and a china head, a china torso, and a china nose. His arms and legs were jointed and joined by wire, so that his china elbows and china knees could be bent, giving him much freedom of movement. His ears were made of real rabbit fur, and beneath the fur there were strong, bendable wires, which allowed the ears to be arranged into poses that reflected the rabbit's mood. Jaunty, tired, full of ennui. His tail, too, was made of real rabbit fur and was fluffy and soft and well-shaped. The rabbit's name was Tulane, and he was tall. He measured almost 3 feet from the tip of his ears to the tip of his feet. His eyes were painted a penetrating and intelligent blue. And all Edward Tulane felt himself to be an exceptional specimen. Only his whiskers gave him the pause. They were long and elegant, as they should be. But they were uncertain origin. Ellis felt quite strongly that they were not the whiskers of a rabbit whom the whiskers had belonged to initially. What unsavory animal was a question that Ellis could not bear to consider for too long, and so he did not. He preferred, as a rule, not to think unpleasant thoughts. Ellis's mistress was a 10-year-old, dark-haired girl named Abilene Tulane, who thought almost as highly of Ellis as Ellis thought of himself. Each morning after she got dressed for herself, after school, Abilene dressed Ellis. The china rabbit was in possession of an extraordinary wardrobe, composed of handmade silk suits, custom shoes fashioned from the finest leather and designed specifically for his rabbit feet, and a wide array of hats, equipped with holes so that they could easily fit over Edward's large and expressive ears. Each pair of well-cut pants had a small pocket for Edward's gold pocket watch. Abilene wound this watch for him each morning. "Now, Ellis," she said to him, after she was done winding up the watch, "when the big hand is on the 12 and the little hand is on the 3, I will come home to you." She placed Ellis on a chair in the dining room and positioned the chair so that Ellis was looking out the window and could see the path that led up to the Tulane front door. Abilene balanced the watch on his left leg. She kissed the tip of his ears, and then she left, and Ellis spent the day staring out at the Egypt Street, listening to the tick of his watch, waiting. That's what it sounds like. Of all the seasons of the year, the rabbit most preferred winter, for the sun set early, then the dining room windows became dark, and Edward could see his own reflection of the glass. And what a reflection it was. What an elegant figure he cut. Edward never ceased to be amazing at his own fineness. In the evening, Edward sat in the dining room table with the other members of the Tulane family, Abilene, her mother and father, and Abilene's grandmother, who was called Pellegrina. True, Ellis's ears can barely clear the tabletop, and also he spent the duration of his meal staring straight ahead at nothing but the bright blinding white of the tablecloth. But he was there, a rabbit at the table. Abilene's parents found it charming that Abilene considered Ellis real, and that he sometimes requested that a phrase or story be repeated because Ellis had not heard it. "Papa," Abilene would say, "I'm afraid that Ellis didn't catch that last bit." Abilene's father would then turn to the direction of Edward's ears. It's Edward or Ellis, it's like potato. You just never know what I'm gonna say. Or like a box of chocolates. Like life. Never know what you're gonna get. And speak slowly, repeating what he had just said for the benefit of the China rabbit. Ellis pretended out of courtesy to listen to Abilene to listen, but in truth he was not very interested in what people had to say. And also he did not care for Abilene's parents and their conceding manner towards him. All adults, in fact, conceded to him. Only Abilene's grandmother spoke to him as Abilene did, as one equal to another. Pellegrina was very old. She had a very large, sharp nose and a bright black eyes that shone like dark stars. It was Pellegrina who was responsible for Ellis's existence. It was she who had commissioned his making. She who had ordered his silk suits and his pocket watch, his jaunty hats, and his bendable ears, his fine leather shoes, and his jointed arms and legs all from a master craftsman and her naive France. It was Pellegrina who had given him a gift to Abilene on her 7th birthday. And it was Pellegrina who came each night to tuck Abilene into her bed and Edward into his. "Will you tell us a story, Pellegrina?" Abilene asked her grandmother each night. "Not today, lady," said Pellegrina. "When?" asked Abilene. "What night?" "Soon," said Pellegrina. "Soon there will be a story." And then she turned off the light, and Edward and Abilene in the dark of the bedroom. "I love you, Ellis," Abilene said each night after Pellegrina had left. She said those words, then she waited almost as if she expected Edward to say something in return. Ellis said nothing. He said nothing because, of course, he could not speak. He lay in his small bed next to Abilene's large one. He stared up at the ceiling and listened to the sound of her breath entering and leaving her body, knowing that soon she would be asleep, because Ellis's eyes were painted on her, and he could not close them. His eyes were always awake. Sometimes if Abilene put him into his bed on his side instead of his back, he could see through the cracks in the curtains and out into the dark night. On clear nights, the stars shone, and their pinprick light comforted Edward in a way that he could not quite understand. Often, he stared at the stars all night until the dark finally gave way to dawn. Thank you for watching today's video. I will be posting more content of Edward Tulane. I hope you enjoyed it. For a second, let's get the thumbnail. So, stay tuned. Be free, be beautiful, because God made you.